reconsider. Use the word context. You said that the point is that when you use the word context and you imply that I've somehow miscontext.
Have I implied that, or have you inferred that? Did I say that you said anything out? I brought it up because I didn't agree with it, actually. I
might agree with it. But I just want to
very well agree that when you're mistreated, you're going to have a bad view of the person that's mistreating you. I think you understand that.
Let's say I do understand.
Okay, we're ready to agree on something.
Of the person that mistreated you. What I don't think can be contextualized is this notion that you should not only kill the person who mistreated you, which might be taking things a bit far, but that you should also kill their children and their wife and their dog and their goat and their cattle and their sheep.
That was 3,000 years ago. And when you're going to say now to not use the word Amalekite, he was speaking about the spiritual orientation of gun-carrying, grenade-throwing, missile launching people who want to destroy indiscriminately. That's what he was talking about. He didn't say about killing women. He didn't say about killing anybody. He's using the word Amalekite as an allegory or as a metaphor. And I think you understand this. I understand once again, Benjamin, I understand how much you loathe organized religion. And let's be accurate. Let's be precise.
Yes, better right now.
Didn't say women, he didn't say women, okay? If Epstein wasn't influenced by his Jewish religion, I know that it serves...
Oh, now let's be fair. Epstein was influenced by lots of things, including...
Okay, well, now you just said he was influenced by lots of things, okay? But if he misread...
Yeah, but let's not pretend that Judaism wasn't one of them.
Again, if he misread or misunderstood Judaism, but he didn't do any of this he did it because all the usual suspects. He did it out of greed, he did it out of vanity, he did it out of narcissism. The fact that he took a certain passage from Talmud and say, oh, this is the Talmud passage and I can do this, that, or the other thing. What he did was more misogynistic than anti-Gentile. Okay, he would have done the same to Jewish girls, because that's the kind of guy he was.
Well, that's not what's represented by this quote. And again, this quote was found in the Epstein file.
What is that?
He says.
Quoted Rabbi Ovadia Yosef?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And so you're saying that is what spurred him on. We have to make a connection that this crazy rabbi who was known as being a lunatic, who was ridiculed in the press and in sketch comedy and on the street and in academia, okay? We have to really, and Epstein himself probably would have ridiculed this and had no respect for this kind of rabbi. I don't know when he went to his, read any of his publications, or I don't know if he went to his synagogue, or I don't know if he listened to his sermons. I don't know. Okay, all we know is that he had mentioned this rabbi. But your inference, okay, your point is you're saying that this rabbi...
He didn't reference the rabbi by name. He referenced this quote.
But that's the rabbi's quote. That's not...
Correct.
It's not... Did the rabbi quote tractate in anywhere in a... Is that this? Or is that his own idea?
The link documenting this is already in the back channel.
Once again, we all know that Judaism has a lot of authors that's been around for thousands of years. And if we want to see the Judaism today, because that's really what we should look at. We should look at today, not something that was written 2,000 years ago. And yes, you're going to find a very...
This quote was not written 3,000 years ago. This quote was written by a man who is now dead.
By a man.
But it's only like...
It was written
by just a couple years ago.
It was written by one man. That's
one man with 10 seats in the Knesset.
They didn't vote for him specifically because of that alone. They may have ignored it or bypassed it.
But you know what? He didn't lose any support after he said this.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know. He
didn't lose support. I checked.
He didn't lose support. Okay, first of all, he is not synonymous with Shas. Shas, people vote for Shas because Shas is the one who's looking out for their welfare, their education, their voice in housing and all kinds of stuff. They're not saying, oh, Shas is the people who hate the Gentiles the most. I'm going to run to the cafe right now. I'm going to run to the voting. I'm going to go for it. You know better than that. You know that it's far more nuanced limits than that. But again, if your assertion is that it was Judaic forces, he did what he did was because of Judaism, I'm going to have to flatly just disagree with you on that.
Stanley, do you think that anybody does anything because of Judaism, or do you think there's just nothing that's ever been done in the history of humankind because of Judaism?
I mentioned before, just like the guy who assassinated John Lennon read what that book was, what was it called? Catcher in the Rye. You're going to say now that the book was at fault, or you're going to say that the assassin was at fault? Or you may even say that John Lennon was at fault. Please, please, you know better than this. You know what Jean-Paul Sartre said, and I'm not in any way speaking about you right now. He said, if the anti-Semite, if the Jew did not exist, do you know how to finish the sentence? If the Jew did not exist,
I don't.
What did he say? If the Jew did not exist, the anti-Semite would have created him. Now, that is a very existential statement to make, because if Judaism did not exist, Epstein would have found some way to do what he wanted to do. Regardless, okay? Things do not assist us. We have our own, we make our own choices. And that's exactly what the case with Epstein. He was not in any way moved, okay?
Well, that's an interesting distinction, because John was in here just a minute ago, with Christopher Hitchens' argument to some extent,
right,
which is, in a world without religion, good people would do good things and bad people would do bad things, but it takes religion to make good people do bad things.
Absolutely.
I actually think there's something important here, because I think that most people in a minimum lifetime that they have could not really form up what's necessary to be radicalized and start really doing nasty things. I think that when they're groomed from a young child with a tradition that's 1,000 years old, they can be radicalized within the span of their lifetime. Now, I happen to think religions are powerful things, Stanley, and they do push people, and they do push people to do things they wouldn't do without religion. Now, I don't know who think religions are not powerful things. You could say that, but I think you should be clear about this, whether you think...
I agree. I agree with you on one thing.
Religions are powerful things or not.
I agree with the fact that the rabbi should be careful. All rabbis and all priests and all imams should be very careful about what they say, because they have a certain kind of charismatic influence. I don't know if you remember that discussion that Stalin once said, where they said to Stalin, well, you can't do this or that or the other thing because the Pope will be upset about it. And then Stalin said, well, how many divisions does the Pope have? And everybody told Stalin, you're failing to understand. The Pope has charismatic influence, okay? He, by just his words, okay? And this is, I think, the connection you're trying to make with this very insignificant rabbi who represented one portion of the population in Israel and exploited their oppression, okay? And used that for whatever purposes he had. It does not represent Judaism as such. But once again, we have to connect the dots. And I don't disagree with what you're saying in the biggest picture, okay? That yes, there are people who have found through religion the exact tool that they needed to execute whatever it is they're going to do. But I just don't see, in this specific case, I don't see a connection between Epstein, who couldn't give a flying fuck about rabbis, okay? He really didn't, okay? And something that this rabbi that was not even respected by the European community, which Epstein belongs to, okay? I can't see the connection here. I really just don't see it in this specific case. But you want to talk about religion?
Stanley, let's see how much of this we can agree on. Because do you agree with me? It seems we agree that religions can encourage people to do things that they wouldn't do without that encouragement. Is that fair?
Well, when we hear words like jihad, or we hear words like I can say that for sure.
Okay.
We have pogroms, we have synagogue of Satan. Yes, we have enough to understand that people have been motivated.
And if you accept my simple claim that this quote was found in the Epstein files, with Epstein writing out this quote with his own typewriter to his friends, is that at least a little hint that he was moved by his religion?
You think he was a religious man?
I didn't say he was a religious man, but I did say that
Well, I don't
be using this particular religious argument as part of his non-virtue signaling, shall we say,
Did
his fellow compatriots.
Did Epstein keep kosher? Did
I
he
don't
keep the
know.
Sabbath?
I don't know.
Did he separate his linen from his wool? So why is he going to listen to a rabbi, the goofy thing, and think all of a sudden now I'm religiously, I buy Judaism, I'm inspired by Judaism, I'm going to do exactly what this rabbi says because that's what the God who created this God that I don't even believe in wants
I
me
mean,
to
what
believe.
if the only part of Judaism that he ever was moved by was this one quote?
Well, then what does that say about him?
But this one quote pushed him to be more radical than he would have been without it.
Again, you're using the word Judaism. You're using the word Judaism when we should say Rabbi Yosef because he's an individual and he misconstrued, Jewish practice and Jewish focus. He took things out of focus.
Okay, so if I understand you right, you now accept that he could have been influenced by this rabbi to do these horrible things with these girls.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he was influenced
you-
by rabbis. I don't think he ever
Why
said.
was he quoting rabbi in this very creepy way? Which is to say that these are just goy girls anyway. We can do what we want with them.
Why was he doing that? Okay, I think he was just not, he's using or abusing Judaism for that respect. But okay, fine. If you wanna say
Well,
that,
now,
but this, we're gonna
so
say
now
maybe
we agree. Now,
if somebody makes
wait. You think that Judaism is some kind of baby that's been misrepresented here? Have you ever read the book? The central God in Judaism. Right. Maybe you were not here for the Bible reading. Maybe we just to set the tone and put ourselves back on a level, emotionally recover because it's been a hard day. I'll just take a minute to read from the baby, okay?
what are you
Just
reading?
a little minute to read from the baby. I'll read from the Book of Psalms. This is a reading from the 137 from Songs of Solomon, the Psalms of Solomon.
God. All right. Yeah.
This is the 137th chapter.
Yeah.
And just quiet your mind and ease your burdens. Relax into your chair. Breathe in.
Yeah.
Breathe out.
All right.
Let the lights dim in the room.
Let's talk to the
Let
point,
your
Benjamin.
focus center.
I've always respected you in a conversation.
You have.
You will
Okay, here's verse 7. Remember, Lord, what the Edomites did on the day Jerusalem fell. Tear it down, they cried. Tear it down to its foundations. Daughter Babylon, doomed to destruction, happy is the one who repays you according to what you have done to us. And here's the gem. Here's the baby that I might throw out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Happy is the one who seizes your infants and dashes them against the rocks. Yeah, maybe we should throw out that baby with the bathwater. Maybe we should.
I do remember hearing that that was misconstrued. But again, if you're going to take King Solomon, who wrote that, okay, he's King Solomon, who you'll go a few pages earlier in that, you'll see how much he would condemn for much of his behavior. Okay, again, I think there was a mistake. I think the Midrash will say that those babies shouldn't be killed out of mercy because it's like aborting a child that is going to have defects. But I'm going to have to look deeper into that. I don't seek these phrases in the Bible. I'm not a Bible advocate. I'm just asking Benjamin to be balanced in his coverage here. And I agree with you. You're going to find, and this is why I'm not a religious
Is it balanced, Stanley? Is it balanced enough for you if I spent all day yesterday criticizing Mandami for taking his for having a Muhammad number of one.
No, listen. We're not, no, listen. All I'm going to say is, I agree with you, and in talking about a Jewish person whose people have been persecuted because of religious beliefs, I don't think any other people have been as persecuted for their religious beliefs as Jewish people have by religions, okay, that have plagiarized Judaism, okay, and have just, threw it back at them. The big crime that Jews did, okay, according to these two religions, these two Abrahamic derivative religions, was that we didn't accept one prophet and we didn't accept another messenger or whatever it was, okay? And yes, I will be the first one to agree with you that religion, okay, religion in and of itself, and yes, there are going to be phrases you're going to find that I'm going to agree with you about the Amalekites and possibly about this one. I'm going to have to do my homework on this one. But again, go back to your original premise that Epstein did what he did and that he was in any way influenced. He was using it or he was trying to, yes, I'm not going to disagree with you that the religion can be used in the way that Epstein used it. It could be rationalized.
There you go. Hey, that's progress, Stanley. That's enough.
But it still doesn't mean that he represents, okay, someone who is looking for the best out of this Judaism, someone who comes to Judaism in sincerity for Judaism. He's just using it as a one-night stand, okay, to get to where he wants to get to.
What about the Rabbi Obadiah Yosef? Do you think he's also using Judaism as a one-night stand?
No, Rabbi Obadiah Yosef was a nutcase who actually believed in everything that he said. He wasn't blessed with social graces intact and a healthy mind to see all sides. And like I said, mainstream Israeli society.
Stanley, do you think that Rabbi Obadiah Yosef was a scholar?
Of course he was a scholar. But do you know how many scholars, of course he was a scholar.
Do you think his opinion here that non-Jews exist to serve Jews is based on his scholarship, or do you think there's no foundation for this opinion in his scholarship?
If anybody understands the first thing about Judaism, if anyone looks into the Talmud, for every one statement that one rabbi makes, there's like 10 other rabbis that are disagreeing with him in different shades. He said what he said. Again, when the Talmud was written, whenever this passage was written, okay, it was a response, possibly, to whatever was going on politically at the time. It was a hateful, bitter, emotional, irrational response, and he's digging it out because he wanted to manipulate his own people, and he wanted to go to the ballot booth and say things that the most primitive, the most deprived element wanted to hear. You can't take a sampling.
Yeah, I understand, Stanley, that he was speaking to an audience, and you claim that they're not scholars, and I get that. But do you think that he was speaking from his scholarship, or he was just making up shit?
I think he was missing out on the finer aspects of things he could have said. He could have pointed out.
Of course he could have said other things. I grant you, he could have said other things. That's really not
because they exist. Other things.
Of course they do.
All right, just as long as we get that straight.
But he could have chosen other things to say from the scholarship. I'll agree that's obvious.
You're going to tell me now that there are bad elements in Jewish writings? I agree with you. There's nothing new about anything that you're saying.
And this particular, does this not go back in scholarship for 1,000 years of Judaism?
What?
Does this particular idea that non-Jews exist only to serve Jews not go back 1,000 years in Jewish scholarship?
For every comment like that, there are comments that condemn that kind of comment. That's what I'm going to say, right? It does say respect thy neighbor. It does say that all people are created in the image of God. And all people
does it say that the spark of deity lives only in the Jew and that the non-Jew only exists to serve the material needs of the Jew?
No, actually, in Judaism, okay, now again,
I'm not going to find that quote in the
Listen, I have somehow become, in this conversation, somehow it's derailed to be advocating all this. And all I want is precision. All I want is understanding that if one rogue rabbi says one thing and one nutcase, gets influenced by that.
The point is not that it's one rogue rabbi. First of all, it's 10 seats in the Knesset. This is not one rogue rabbi.
I beg you. Most rabbis disagree with Ovadia Yosef. Please.
Most rabbis disagree with each other all the time, but they're still rabbis, and they're still based on the scholarship. And the whole notion has been being said for 1,000 years. Here's the problem. This idea that the Jews are the chosen people and the other people are the not chosen people, it goes all the way back to the original text. I can find it in the. You want me to read it for you right now?
But I know the text no less than you know the text. All I'm saying is, okay, first of all, it's important to get context. When this was written, okay, Judaism, okay, is a 3,000-year-old religion. When Judaism, what?
Maybe.
Okay, well, what do you want to say? That it's a 2,000-year-old religion?
Yeah, probably not 3, but 2,500.
Okay, whenever Judaism came out, all religions were ethno-religions at the time, okay? The Greeks had their religion, and they called anybody who was not Greek as a foreigner. The word for foreigner was the word barbarian, okay? The Japanese have a word for someone who's not Japanese called something like goji or geiji, I don't know. The gypsies have a word, okay? A very condescending, derogatory word for anyone who's not a gypsy. What is your point?
Well, if you want to bring it back to that, I don't think there's a lot of people today who believe that Thor is sitting around with a hammer banging out thunder and lightning. You?
And you know what? There are a lot of Jews that don't believe that Jews are better than other people. The fact that it was written, okay, you may have known that there was
5 שנים לפני היובל, הבחירה הגבוה של 5 שנים, שבט הזה יכול לעבוד. האדם היה מוכר עבד סמוך
I don't know what they believe, but I do know what they celebrate, and it seems to me that most of them, even the most secular Jews I've found, can't say anything that thinks there's 3 tribes in Israel. The most god-awful, ignorant person in Judaism I've ever met still celebrates this day. Passover, when God kills children based on their ethnicity.
You know what?
I agree.
Would you actually like to talk about the God?
I didn't say I disagree with the horrors of that, okay? But I will tell you this.
Do you celebrate Passover?
I agree with what you're
Do
saying.
you celebrate Passover?
I do not celebrate it in the way that is in any way condescending or contradictory or derogatory to Gentiles. But I will tell you what they do.
How do you celebrate a thing about killing Egyptian children?
Well, let me explain.
What part of it do you celebrate?
I remember, listen to me please. I remember the last time we discussed this one ritual that I brought up. And you actually found it hard to accept that this really exists. But if there are other Jews who understand this, who know this ritual, there is a certain part of the Seder where we go.
We do the drops of wine.
Yes, you remember this, and this is to specifically point out that.
But you're just acknowledging that the Egyptian children are absolutely part of your entire story. And so here you are telling the story of a God.
Benjamin, you're going to have to let me complete my sentences if you're going to judge my sentences. So let's please, what we do is we acknowledge, okay, that this happened, and we take a drop of wine out of the cup of wine to show that we are not.
And do you acknowledge this by saying,
Benjamin, you don't do this usually.
Go ahead.
All right. So what we are acknowledging, and when we take the drop of wine out, we're saying we are not celebrating this, okay? We are not celebrating that bad things have to happen, that God punished these people in that way.
Wait, it have to happen?
I didn't say that it had to happen, but saying
You said that bad things have to happen. You mean it was necessary for God to kill the Egyptian children?
No, wait. Did they happen or did they not happen?
It's all made up bullshit.
I agree.
You're celebrating it. I'm just curious why
I
you're
didn't say I was celebrating it. Did I say I was celebrating it?
Well, what is there to celebrate in all of this? May I ask?
My purpose in having a discussion here is not to advocate Judaism or even defend Judaism, but I just want accurate, precise, academic, balanced reporting.
But academically, you say you celebrate Passover. So academically, you, as a secular Jew who thinks it's all bullshit, what part of that story do you find worth celebrating?
Well, I don't know my policy on free food, but that's a different story.
Well, no, I grant you that. I just wonder, when you're telling that story and you acknowledge that God did this thing and that he killed the Egyptians, do you also acknowledge that a God who kills children based on their ethnicity is a worthless piece of shit?
I don't believe in God, but I'm the first one to say that if God killed firstborns, he's a terrorist. We're on the same page on this one. But I just want to hear from Benjamin that if he's going to say that Judaism or any religion has 90 terrible things,
Click.
it doesn't stop there.
Subscribe.
Just mention that too.
Like.
And if it
Click.
has a little
Subscribe.
Spark, I like that word spark.
Like.
Of empathy.
Click. Subscribe. And like. Now. Click. Now. Subscribe. Now.
I would find those specific lines in Judaism that show empathy, that show the better side, and I would try to bring that out of the believing Jew. I would say to him, oh, you say chosen this and that and killed the but your religion also points out to you to love it says, even love the Edomite, love the Egyptian, which of course parenthetically means love your enemy. It says you must you take the wine out not to rejoice in the killing of others. You have elements in Judaism that says love thy neighbor and that all people are created in the image of God, which should be respected, and to not kill and not steal. And that goes to not
Hit the like button now. Subscribe now so you can watch more later. Hello? Hit the subscribe button now. Hello?
Do I think the Torah is...
Do you think the Torah is univocal? Do you think the Torah says thou shalt not steal consistently?
What does the Torah say? It says subscribe now. Click the subscribe button now. Hello? Hello?
That's not what I offered.
What?
That's not what I offered.
What did this fat fuck offer? Hello? Subscribe now. What are you waiting for? Subscribe now so you can have more in the future now by subscribing now.
Okay, and we know that what is called the Pentateuch, okay, or what's
The
called
Pentateuch.
has several authors.
Let's do a bull rush. Bull rush!
Right? Heard of this? All right, well, I'll get into that. I haven't heard of it. I have. Okay, well, if anybody wants to explain this, I
just want to say, Benjamin, I hate you. Okay, you are a hateful person. And the reason that Benjamin can't understand Judaism is because Judaism encounters the entire human. And it wants to talk about the entire range of human emotion. Not this fucking pie in the sky, be perfect, don't be perfect. But Benjamin is so anti-humanity. And is so anti-himself and so alienated from the human experience that he can't but help nitpick and not even nitpick, but like go after other groups because he has no groups, because he's just a wounded little puppy out there. Don't fucking listen to Benjamin. Nobody should respond to any more of his questions about Passover or about Muhammad or about any of these things. You know how you stop getting a troll life? Stop giving it attention. So fuck you.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Caleb is my personal sexual advisor. He always comes up with advice on my sexual life. I want Stanley to be able to respond. Stanley, did you want to respond to that at all?
Can we eventually put a pause on the interrogations eventually?
Wait. I wanted to say, I spoke quite a bit. Elliot wanted to say, somebody wants to say something.
Well, I just want to respond to my personal sexual advisor. I was surprised that he came up after 5 hours discussion about Sephardi leader Obadiah Yosef saying that non-Jews only exist to serve Jews. And after 5 hours of talking about this particular quote, he's angry at me. He had not one bad thing to say about Obadiah. He didn't say that Obadiah suffers from some complex that leaves him incapacitated. He didn't say that Obadiah, is a broken soul that doesn't have a community, doesn't have a tribe, doesn't have a group. He didn't say that Rabbi Obadiah is somehow lost.
Well,
He said that I am the broken one here. And I just think that is so telling. That Caleb and Dr. James, with all of their education,
You know what, Benjamin? You dated me. Here I am now. Good job. Here I am now. You fucking piece of shit. Obadiah is a racist. End of story. There. Now what? You think you're so goddamn clever? You think you're so goddamn clever that you're the first person ever to point out problems with religions? You think you're the fucking genius of the world? Who the fuck do you think you are? Honestly, who the fuck do you think you are to behave in such a way? You want people to give respect. You want people.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
You do not afford anybody that opportunity.
I've invited you up to say this for 5 hours. What took you so long?
Fuck you. That's all there is to say, Benjamin.
5 hours.
You are
5 hours.
5 hours. You needed my attention for 5 hours, Benjamin.
It took you 5 hours.
Are you that fucking lonely? 5 hours you waited for me, Benjamin. Here I am, my love.
Thank you, Caleb. It's good to see you.
Go to hell.
You could have said that 5 hours ago, honestly. And should have done it. Next time, don't take so long.
I was fucking
Next time, don't take so long.
I was sleeping through the boredom and the monotony and the idiocy. I was fucking sleeping. God damn you. Don't take so long. No wonder you're not married. No wonder you're estranged from every fucking human being on the planet. Girl, get a life. Close the room.
Hello?
Get a life.
Hello? 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 Hello?
So when I
Hello?
criticize somebody who is a racist, and we both agree he's a racist, you call me the racist. That's what I don't understand that.
Benjamin, you're like a guy. Benjamin, you're like a guy. Benjamin,
You call me a racist.
Ben, you're a guy who gets slapped in the face and said, "Please, sir, may I have another? Would you like another? I'll slap you around some more. Would you like that? Would you like that? You're a guy who sees a bullseye and decides that actually I'm going to aim 5 inches to the left because the bullseye was placed there by somebody wanting me to do something. I won't do anything that anybody else wants me to do. Blah, 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 blah. Listen.
Hello?
You want to have a serious conversation for once in your fucking life? Or you want to be a fucking troll? And if you want to be a troll, I'm going to treat you that way. If you want to have a serious conversation, you want to learn something about Jewish culture, or any culture that you happen to go against that have ridiculous deaths.
I have a serious question.
Yeah.
You ready for a serious goddamn answer? Now, this is the question.
Yeah.
How did this Rabbi Ovida Yosef, with his 10 years of schooling and always learning in his goddamn stack of 1,000 books, going back 1,000 years in the Jewish history, lead him to the point where he thought that what the book says was that non-Jews exist to serve Jews? Tell me that.
Well, every ancient culture, and Jewish culture included, had bad stuff to say about its neighbors. And there are parts in Jewish texts that say things like what he said. Is it a conventional view that people go out there preaching and saying, "Hey Jew, hey non-Jew, hey go ahead,
Hello?
right? Serve me."
Hello?
It really isn't.
I hope you're enjoying.
Created by
You should be subscribed by now. Hit the subscribe button before it's too late, and you lose out on more. Now, subscribe now.
Seriously?
Hello?
About world matters?
Hello?
No, not really. Was he a giant Torah scholar? Yeah, he was.
Huge Torah.
Yeah, Christopher Hitchens, they obviously went on Fox News one time with Sean Hannity, and they were talking about Jerry Falwell. And towards the end of the conversation, Christopher Hitchens remarked that if you were to give Jerry Falwell an enema, he'd be able to bury him in a matchbox. Okay, and we can say the same thing about this guy, and you can say the same thing about this Yosef clown.
Yeah, and actually his Torah, the stuff that he wrote, legal opinions and things like that, is very, very, even my liberal, progressive.
Subscribe now.
Right?
It's your last chance.
As far as like, you couldn't beat him. You went up against computers, and he beat the computers. Right? He was a fucking genius, and he happened to be, and he was racist. Big deal racist. Do you see how people can be complex, Benjamin? Do you see how people can do that? Do you see how this kind of fucking consistency about like? So I have to reject all of his Torah knowledge, all of it, right? Erase it from history, because he said a racist thing.
Alrighty, I'm here. This thing's way more than my car battery.
I haven't, but I wanted to ask Caleb. Caleb, do you think that it's inappropriate for me to have an exploration of this quote and its appearance in the Epstein files today?
Where did it appear in the Epstein files, and what is the? Yes, I do think it's inappropriate, and I'll tell you why. Because you're the fucking Dan Brown Da Vinci Code of like attacking religion. Oh, it said it in the Epstein file. Oh, he had a thing that maybe it was there in the tradition, and that he had to rely on it. So the Epstein files, by making use of this racist thing, or blah, 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 blah. The whole thing is so fucking transparent. Just stand on your square. You hate Jews. I don't think you hate Jews more than you hate. I don't think you hate Jews more than you hate lots of other people, right? But you certainly have a special place for Jews in your heart, okay? And you have no problem abusing and misunderstanding to the best, to the utmost of your genius fucking ability, right? To understand, right?
This is a really good episode of Jewish Complaint Department. This is Jews complaining about Jews. It's not often we get to record this. This is very exciting new material coming out of the John Kitover
You wish they were not on the planet anymore. Say it.
Anthropology
They
Project.
would all respect you more.
Hello?
Say it.
Hello?
So you think that this is about a people, and I think it's about ideas. And I'll say this.
Fuck off.
I think that the idea...
Hello?
Fuck off. Dr. James, when Dr. James came in here and you asked him about it, he knew nothing about the story, but he just sniffed you out from the get-go. And he said immediately, that, Benjamin, this is treading on what smells like some anti-Semitism over here, and you're just like, oh, I'm just talking about a racist rabbi. Yeah, he's a fucking racist rabbi. Now what? You never have an answer. You never have an answer to the fucking damn right.
Hello?
Get away.
Hello?
Look, now what is this? First of all...
You should have subscribed right now before it's too late. Click the button, subscribe now. Take your little finger and hit subscribe now. And hit the like button too, right here. Like. Subscribe now.
Trying to get people to do this for 5 fucking years, and you know what? Nobody, it doesn't work.
Bull rush!
Nobody wants to hear.
I can put it to you like that.
Go away. No, honestly, I don't even care that much about this app, and I'm thinking about actually talking to Pro and removing you from this house. Because you are a terrorist.
What? Wait a minute.
You are a terrorist, Benjamin.
Hello?
You exist to terrorize and to make your discomfort everyone else's fucking problem.
Terrorist?
Go away.
Click the link now and subscribe! Like!
the fuck away.
I know you're talking to Benjamin. I'm aware of that. I'm just calling you out. He's not a terrorist. That's all.
Oh my god. JCC. Exit yourself from this conversation.
No.
I'm gonna call James a snowflake.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm no fucking snowflake. Fuck you, Caleb. Fuck you.
Well, okay. Let me put it to you like this, Benjamin. Because I wanted to ask this question for quite a while now. I haven't really gotten a chance. We all agree there's a group of people that we would call, we call them hateful. They have hate in their heart. They're bigots. They're racists. They're intolerant. Okay, and we don't want to be like these people. And what I want to know is what distinguishes you from they. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I think it's important to negotiate with ideas. I happen to love my friend Caleb as of whatever he wants to call him.
You know what, Benjamin? I'm calling the police in Boulder, and I'm going to, or wherever the fuck you live, and I'm going to have them find, and I'm serious, and I'm going to have them find an elderly gentleman trained to be a pilot, okay? And I'm going to have you removed from this athlete, okay? Because Benjamin, I don't say anymore that you love me. I'm not your friend. I hate you with the hate of 1,000 suns, and I wish you died.
Wow. Wow. He hates him with the hate of 1,000 suns and he wishes he would die.
Benjamin, you deserve more than this place. Go find a place that wants you. Nobody wants you here. Get the fuck out of here.
All communication is projection. I do like Wendy's. I think Wendy's has the best French fries. Some people say Burger King. I say Wendy's.
Anybody talking about death or
Get the
suicide
triple
or
stacker
anything
with the
like that?
cheese.
We're sending a SWAT to his house, like swatting him for being an annoying person on an audio app. That's talk about a snowflake.
I've heard Benjamin, and I would think that if Benjamin is going to answer this question, somebody doesn't need me to speak, but I think, like he said, I think he's just not he's not with religion, and I agree with him. He doesn't like organized religion, and at this particular point in time, he picked Judaism as a group in the set of organized religion. He doesn't have a problem with Jews, right, Benjamin? You're not.
Oh, I don't have any problem with Jews.
Or
any other group of people.
Can you give Benjamin the opportunity to respond to my question? Yeah, he didn't get a chance.
I'm sorry. Did he leave?
Look, I think he might.
No, my experience with Benjamin is that he really is about the ideas, and he's not about the races of the people, or what. He's not in any way saying that Jewish people are more racist. He's saying that Jews, like other people, have some kind of religion, and they can be misled just as well as other people have been misled by their religions, right? Is that what you're saying, Benjamin?
I separate ideas from people. I think ideas are like t-shirts.
I've always got that right.
People wear them. They can take them off. They put them on. You take off one. You put on another one. We're not sewed into our shirts, and we can change our ideas.
Right. Well,
What was Elliot's question?
Nobody has the right to convert their ideas into some kind of
Chicken Florentine, I love it.
Offended because somebody doesn't like their ideas.
Do you know what a turducken is? You cook a chicken and a turkey.
Just consider
2
that
for 1.
critique of the idea.
CM, what are you doing here? CM, you don't like me. Are you using me? You don't want to communicate with me, and you're just lurking, hiding in the goo shadows. Hello? CM, just go where you want to go. You don't need to be here. There's no reason to be here. I'm here all alone, by myself, with nobody, not even talking to anybody. Hello?
What's weird is that he wants to come in here and criticize my ideas, but he seems very uncomfortable if I criticize his ideas.
I think he misunderstood that.
And I think I have given him nothing but respect. Nothing.
I'm curious, Elliot, what were you asking Benjamin, Elliot? I forgot.
Well, this concern that I share has been expressed to Benjamin, by 20 different people every which way from Sunday over the past like 7 days about,
What is the concern?
people put it to you in different ways.
You yelled for 4 hours.
My voice needs a break.
Yeah, take a break.
So when
play moon dance.
the people want to know, like, they want to know whether you're a racist, Benjamin. I'll just put it to you straight up like that. So, like when I mentioned the group earlier, like the people that their hearts are filled with hate, they're intolerance, they're bigots, they're racists, those people, what distinguishes you from they? Can you explain what that thing is so we know you're not one of them?
Yeah. I think that it is wrong to connect yourself, to hold an idea close to your heart that expresses genocide, the killing of children, that is pro-slavery, the taking of other people and forcing them to work, that is in any way discriminatory in the way that this gentleman up at the top is so discriminatory, saying that one group of people exists only as in the servile role of other people. It's like a caste system. I'm very opposed to caste systems.
No casting. Absolutely no cast or casting.
With systems of thought that promote caste systems, genocide, and slavery. And instead, I do all kinds of things to promote the opposite. Now, what's weird, and this is what's very weird, is that when you come on here and you criticize genocide, people call you a racist. And when you criticize a Bible that says straight in it, take slaves, you're banning your women slaves. You know what women slaves are good for? And when it says that in the Bible, and you criticize the Torah and the Bible for having these verses in it, people like Caleb come up and lose their fucking shit.
I think he was misunderstanding your conclusions with your method, and it's not your method as such, but I mean, when people want to, in this particular case, your target is, but he thought that your target was Jews and Judaism as such. But when we target something, we're going to maybe, I don't know, maybe the wrong word is to cherry pick or to find something negative.
You think I'm crazy? Wait until you meet the Rice family.
And it may sound disproportional, and I think that's what he was focusing on. He was focusing on a method you had that, unlike yourself, but anti-Semites have used to be critical of Jews. Okay, and I think this is where he was confused. He needs to go through with a fine-tooth comb, and he needs to hear things that you've said before, which I've heard. And I know you, Benjamin. It's about the ideas. It's always been about the ideas with you. I've never felt that you have an anti-Semitic bone ever, and I can say that to Caleb if he's in the room. I can say that to anybody. Benjamin is one of the most calm people that I know, and I really think that Benjamin is really seeking for something that would make a better world, and I think he sees that organized religion gets in the way with that. But I think sometimes, and there's a funny joke, I'm trying to think about this, an analogy here. But again, one thing, I think you're being misled because you are not an anti-Semite, but to some you may sound like one. And you even asked me yourself if I thought this title was anti-Semitic because you understood that could be taken in that direction. As far as Jews are concerned, I know that you know that Jews are just like every other people.
Well, Stanley, the way I look at it is like, I mean, what does it mean when is it appropriate to call someone this or that, like a good person or a bad person or a racist or an anti-Semite or just a Christian or whatever. I think that comes down to a consistent pattern of behavior. If somebody displays a consistent pattern of behavior over a long period of time, then I feel justified in giving that whatever the label is. So like, what is it? Okay, well, we can disagree, but let me explain. So like, if remember all those people that Caleb was talking about?
What was Caleb talking about? Who did he?
You're breaking up, Elliot. Big time. We don't hear anything. You can try it again.
What was Caleb? Who was he bring up? Who did he bring up? I forgot.
This stuff in the title, the link that's talking about the Yosef thing. That when that came out, it was paraded around by like all the regular anti-Semites. Okay, and Benjamin seems to be doing that too. So, I mean, that's a problem. Like, what is I lost my question. You understand where I'm going from here?
I have a quick question.
You're alive? Oh, please, no. Why does everybody always want me to kill them all the time? Who is she?
Congresswoman Diane Welch from Glendale. ISCP on the old Myers-Briggs, which is still the gold standard for personnel. Ideal personality to scale. With the kind of attributes we could stand to see more of out there in the world, if you ask me.
Then why would you do that to her?
Well, Daddy's job is complicated, sweetie.
What's your end game with all of this?
We're gonna choose station. It's a wave of the future. Soon, we won't know who's been automated and who hasn't. You just have a little scar on your neck.
Which reasons he's doing it for?
Are you alive?
Start playing, and therefore we're friends now.
Well, we've all taken. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
go ahead. No, it's very good.
I think any of us that went to college took a debate, or we all took Composition 101. And what does it say in Composition 101? If you want to convince the other side, first of all, you make a statement, like Benjamin made. But somewhere along the way, you acknowledge, you make a refutation, right? We all know what that means.
Hello?
You say, although the Jewish rabbi said this is brother, my statements are not attempting to say that Jewish people as such are racist. There have been examples of Jewish people being in this and that or the other thing, or civil rights, yada, yada, yada. However, I will make a distinction between sociologically what Jews have done and theologically. And you make it clear, you put it all on the table. But somewhere along the way, you acknowledge what the other guy is saying, just to acknowledge, to say, okay, I have my opinions, not because I'm just a tunnel vision, short-sighted person. I do acknowledge that this is what may be understood, or this is what the other person is saying. And I don't know that Benjamin may or may not have done that. I came in the room kind of late. So if Benjamin was to say, I don't mean to say that Jewish people as such are more sexually deprived, as I targeted scripture. See, well, that's exactly what I think he said. He targeted scriptures, and I think his discussion with Caleb, in somewhere along the way that could have came up. If Caleb was willing to listen, or if Benjamin had a chance to say it, I never thought Benjamin. I felt misunderstood by Benjamin because I was responding to what I thought was disproportional representation. I know that Benjamin is on, let's just say, a crusade with organized religion. And I just felt compelled to say, yes, I agree with him. I don't like organized religion. But if it does have something positive in it, and I wanted to convince someone who subscribed to an organized religion, and I wanted them to have more empathy, or not to see, I would say, look, I don't agree with your method of getting to this idea, but your idea, your religion itself says to have empathy. It says right here, okay, this is where you can have empathy. Maybe you want to focus more on that than filling all the Amalekites. I would think that would be another strategy to spread these better ideas, to get better behavior from the side that you have, any concern with, if you know what I'm getting at. But I think, again, I'm not going to tell Benjamin how to represent himself.
Well, we all do, so that's not the understanding. So if you want to
Yeah.
give him some pointers, then go ahead, because we all do, and yeah, Benji is Benji.
Argus, you've been quiet for a while. Any thoughts?
Who you? What's it?
Andrew, you just need to like,
Oh.
Andrew, you just gotta like, put the flamethrower away, okay, and get out like the freaking, the tiny little screwdriver, okay, to sort through this kind of problem. You can't approach this with like a flamethrower, okay? It's just not gonna work. You're gonna kill the good people too.
Well, this isn't about people. This is just about ideas.
Wait. I agree with you, but people have to understand that it's not about people. It's about ideas. The fact that it's clear to you, and you know that there are two sides of the conversation, this is where maybe Caleb misunderstood. Because you need to make it clear to the audience that it's not about people. Even though it is clear to you, it has to be clear to the audience.
Yeah, I agree, yes. So maybe you explain yourself, Benjamin, before, and then say what you mean, and then go into discussion.
I really enjoy when Benjamin's in the room, and I like his ideas. And again, he's a very calm person. I've never heard him explode and yell back, and even when he's under pressure. But I think there are times when he's misunderstood, and we have to consider why is he misunderstood. And like I pointed out with the Star Trek quote, there are some people that want to misunderstand him, but there may be another way he may want to try getting across to these people.
Yeah, but that's Benjamin. He goes left, and then you go left, then suddenly he's at the right. And you go, we go to the right, and then suddenly he's everywhere, and then we don't understand it anymore. But that's what he has to be.
No, what he does actually, because I've seen this pattern, what he does is he tries to get on someone else's information, and then he makes that. So then he looks calm, and he's talking all calmly. The other person looks upset. You're 100% anti-Semitic. I've heard you say times. You actually remember me talking about race. And he's talking about Caribbean people. I've heard you say so much shit about people. For you to say, well, I want everyone to be good to each other, and I don't believe, you're such bullshit. You are the biggest bullshitter of anybody I've ever met in my whole entire life. Now that's it, because that's all you get of me. Goodbye.
I think that could be clip worthy right there.
Not the biggest bullshitter I've ever had. Not by far. Hey, Marshall. I want to just say something about AJ, because I think AJ is starting to mature. I think AJ is coming along. I think AJ is making progress. She's almost ready to cut the apron strings.
You're so fucking hilarious, Benjamin.
In her tone of voice, she's almost ready to pee on her own. And she
You make up a whole story.
She's almost ready. She's almost ready to choose her own religion rather than just living with what her parents.
No, she's almost ready to trust people, and therefore she expresses herself now.
Well, she's getting ready to make big boy decisions about her own religion. And this is why she's so angry, is because having to make that decision on your own is difficult. And people who are just on the precipice of making it.
I'm sleeping too, Benjamin.
About it.
We're all emotional.
She's not ready to come over to the other side, I can tell.
But Sonny, you're right. He can be lovable, likable, but Benjamin rules himself. I mean, you can wait for that.
I want to get Benjamin to admit. I want Benjamin to admit that if there was an election for president right now, and there was two candidates, there was Jerry Falwell and James Tallarico. I need you to tell me that you will vote against Jerry Falwell every single time.
Yeah, I would.
Say it out, Benjamin.
Thank you.
The whole sentence.
But would you vote for Tallarico?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, good.
But I'm not gonna give an inch to this notion that there is a gentle and a nice and kind way to they celebrate a God who kills children.
Well, hang on. So, but
Rico is still doing that.
hang on. But Tallarico isn't promoting God in that light, though. Isn't promoting his religion in that light, though, right? He's taking the love your neighbor aspect of it.
Does he have a Jefferson Bible? Does he have a Bible?
No, I don't know. I'm just saying that the
objection stuff torn out.
No, hang on. All I'm saying that the things that he is promoting are the peaceful, loving sides of things, right? And actually, he doesn't.
When you put your hand on the Bible and you swear on a stack of Bibles, you're not just promoting the good parts, you're promoting the whole thing.
Okay, but Benjamin, I don't know if you've ever listened to James Tallarico speak. He's spoken, there's tons of videos out there of him talking about this or that, politics, religion, all kinds of stuff. And Jay, okay, this guy, I've listened to him speak, at length on different subjects, and it's clear to me that this guy is a good person. He is a good person, regardless of, the religious crap, he is still a good person nonetheless, at the end of the day. And from his angle, from the atheist side of these discussions, James Tallarico can attack the fundamentalists from an angle that no atheist could ever hope to do. Okay, and that's why we need people like him.
Exactly.
You want people like him, but there's scholarship that shows that this kind of soft religion is not sustainable. It never wins. It's always replaced by the more extreme, hardline religionists. Even if it shows up momentarily in one little guy, people like Caleb, who had this very progressive liberal pilot chart, tiny minority. You think this guy, Obadiah Yosef, is a marginal rabbi? Rabbi Caleb is the marginal rabbi. He has no following, none really to speak of. And this whole progressive, soft on everything religion never works. Bishop Spong spent his entire career writing books called Beyond Belief and other things that basically said, yes, in so many words, that you shouldn't take the Bible literally. There was always some meant as a metaphor. And if you take it literally, you're just doing violence to the text, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I don't know. It didn't stick, right? The next pope is some Orthodox. Fire, brimstone.
Benjamin, we don't know. We were not there when it was written, You don't know who wrote. Maybe it was a guy who thought, I put my wishing what I want to do, and I put it in there, and we all think it is God or Jesus or whatever. That's a related thing. Maybe it's just an ego thing. You never know.
What is this about?
Never mind. I just opened my mouth and air came out.
I apologize.
Yeah, me too. I apologize. Me too.
I think it's all understood. It's written by human beings, right? With an agenda.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, with an agenda. Mm-hmm. And how many times have we written? Well, so many agendas that you have, maybe. But really, 4 hours of yelling in my ear.
I apologize.
Yeah, but you were not yelling. You made other people yell, maybe. But it was really
I will say that what I had today was a debate with Caleb, and he came up and he lost in the first 3 minutes.
You guys chat before he blew up and left, because I came in at the tail end of it.
It was really only about 2 minutes or so.
Oh, okay.
But he did answer one question intelligently, and that was, to what extent is this statement by this rabbi scholar versus just shit off the top of his head? And he admitted that this guy is the best scholar on the Torah person. That his his Torah scholarship is still studied at himself.
No, actually, the Torah doesn't say anything about non-Jews exist or some Jews. Actually.
So quotes, hang on, Benjamin, is the quote scholarly, regardless of him being a scholar, is that quote?
Yeah, Caleb admitted that this is in the text, not necessarily as Noah.
Okay, show me. I'm interested.
It's less. He didn't point to it, but it's not so much in the Torah as it is in the subsequent texts, but over many thousand.
Which subsequent texts?
Well, you can look that up. You can ask Caleb.
I don't know. I thought you provide.
He didn't provide that specificity.
Okay.
Let's get Chinga. Chinga, you gonna come?
Let's ask him.
Yeah, Benjamin, I protect Chinga from you. Last time he said it, I never ever protected him.
So,
I didn't
Benjamin.
remember if he needed it.
So Benjamin, you say Caleb says that the quote, Goyim were born only to serve us, quote, is in the Torah?
No, I mean, he's not quoting the Torah like word for word here. But I think there's a good grounding for this in the text.
Actually, I just like ChatGPT. It doesn't say in the Torah that non-Jews exist or said non-Jews.
It doesn't say that in the Torah, but it does say that.
Well, you want to look it up on ChatGPT? I'm interested.
One can, but I'll just tell you off the top because I'm a Bible scholar myself.
Okay.
The text is going to things like, the chosen people, they're chosen by God. They're God's special people. He cares about the Jews.
Yeah, but that exists in every religion.
Israelites more than he cares about the Egyptians, for example.
But that exists in every religion. Like every religion sees itself as more divine than other religions, right?
No. In the discussion about slaves.
So actually, yeah, of course.
In the discussion about slaves, there will be a conversation. And that conversation will include that if you take a slave, if it's an Israelite slave, he can only be a slave for a period of time. But if it's not an Israelite slave, he can be a slave to you forever, and his children can be slaves, and they will always be slaves to you forever. So there kind of is a second-class notion even within the concept of slavery. This will be in the text. Now, to the extent that you get all the way to this expression, that's a little bit tricky.
Yeah, it's a big stretch, yeah.
Yeah, but it happens over thousands of years. Now, weirdly, Caleb himself will say, well, you shouldn't focus on the text. You should focus on the tradition and how the tradition evolves and how the tradition is practiced in the modern era. Well, here you go. The modern era has arrived, and Rabbi Ovadia, Yosef, over thousands of years of evolution of the text, then we get to this comment. Non-Jews exist to serve Jews. So now what am I supposed to take seriously? The text or the evolution of the text?
Hi, hey, you're still open, right? We are. What can I get started for you? Could I do a large pepperoni? All right, team. Pizza Corp wants an extra garlic special. Let's make it. Question 99. You're trained leaders at noon?
Right? So you're a non-believer, so you wouldn't take it serious, correct?
Well, I think you have to take seriously this comment by this rabbi who actually, in fact, has.
No, I would not take it serious. I think it's maniacal and just a bunch of bullshit.
Welcome back to Kitover tonight. My guest tonight traveled my class. Today we're diving into some pretty important topics. Behold, mortals, from the...
on this island is informed by this idea that you can do anything with a...
Wait, so you think this text influenced Epstein to have a proclivity for younger girls?
It took your time.
Trains in Paris rarely have. Besides, you like the suspense.
The number check out.
He'd open the safe inside this.
Lipstick.
These numbers are everywhere. Even the receipt for this pizza ended in 32. Pizza Cosmic Kid, you should stop ordering it. I'm John Kitover with KITV 8 News. Here are tonight's headlines. The City Council has approved a downtown safety initiative aimed at improving lighting and adding more patrols. Crews are standing by for the winter storm expected to drop several inches. I'm John Kitover with KITV 8 News. Here are...
What I'm hearing from people, they're tired of gridlock. Tired of watching the... Your eyes are getting heavy.
Okay, you may have...
Okay, so I
Wait a minute, no harm.
You may have some.
James,
You may have
just come into an epiphany here. Just
not an epiphany. You may have some kind of a point, but I mean, like.
Okay, tell me when I can speak.
The quote exactly was the Goyim quote was in the Epstein files.
Yeah, this quote right here in this article.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
It raises an eyebrow. I'll say that much.
Can I speak?
Yeah, speak, dude, speak.
Okay, thank you. So I
Just follow the watch, darling. Let the world grow quieter. Each swing is a heartbeat, steady and certain. When it stops, you'll know what your heart already does.
That I adore you.
Precisely. Just follow the watch.
I'm Attorney John Kitover. Before I step into court, I study every detail. This file is the...
I've seen other religions that say that others are, for example, in Christianity, they say that the Jews are prone to perpetual servitude, and they are also prone to perpetual slavery.
The whole crate, that's 200 pounds of pure profit. Cash or regret? Cash. My cousin's got...
Country, everything is too big. The cars, the drinks, even the squirrels. They stare at me like tiny gym coaches.
We're at a hardware store for a box of screws, and the clerk says people like you ought to stick to knitting. Can you?
All right, just a quick laugh. We'll be gone before anybody notices.
No, these are real hard.
It is now, kids. Some delivery. Hermes Mercury, express mail to Venus. By the power priority postage, open the portal. That's confetti. Not exactly first class. The feet of Mercury, the wings of words, and the timetable of the intercity bus. I invoke the powers of Mars and Jupiter.
You sure this is safe? Last time you lit my jacket on fire?
And the Kitover Diamond Wholesale, where the sparkle meets the discount.
I'm hoping for something big but affordable.
Then you just made my day. Check out this beauty, 1 full carat flawless.
Looks gorgeous.
Outside Kitover Diamonds, if you're hunting for something that sparkles, this is the place.
We've got a full collection of certified stones and custom settings. This one here is a 1 kilo.
Councilman Brindle's hiding something in this office.
Christianity is a form of Judaism. So what are you talking about?
Yes, but it's another religion that say the Jews are prone to
You're saying
perpetual
it's another
servitude.
religion, but you're full of bullshit. It's just a sect.
So Islam is also another sect of Christianity. So basically we are all Jews, which means that you are a Jew yourself, right? So you are a Jew yourself, so you contribute to all of according to your logic.
That Islam is a Jewish project. But as far as I can tell, everybody involved in
When you're gonna hold people responsible.
was Jewish.
Okay, everybody involved.
When you're gonna hold people
of the Muslim religion was a Jewish as well, right?
The letter to the Corinthians, the letter to the Ephesians, the letter to
So according to you, everybody is a Jew. So
all of these were Jews.
the
All
non-Jews
the people in the
never
stories
exist,
are
right?
Jews. I'm not a Jew. Jesus is a Jew. Mary is a Jew.
According to
Shem is a
Benjamin,
Jew.
everybody is a Jew.
Yes, that would be the entailment of what you're saying, Benjamin.
Yeah. Benjamin, I'm only using your logic. I'm not.
Christianity, as far as I can tell, is a first century Jewish project.
Okay. So you're a Jew.
I'm a
Congratulations.
I'm not a Christian. So what if you're not a Christian?
No, but according to his logic, he is a Jew. That there is no such thing as a Christian. Like,
I don't know that.
is anybody with me? Like,
I don't know that one follows the other quite as neatly as you say.
Using your logic.
That's what you said.
Yeah. Basically saying one follows the other and they all point at Judaism.
yeah.
So
So you're a Jew, Benjamin. You don't have to worry about somebody who says that non-Jews.
Wait, how was Benjamin now a Jew? How'd you get to that?
because he's saying that
He
it's
said
another
that.
religion.
He said that? I
He's
never heard
saying,
that.
no, he's saying Judaism is the mother religion. And from there the subsets are following from Judaism. He's not wrong in one sense, right?
He's wrong in the sense that I think the real surviving religion is Zoroastrianism.
Me too.
Okay, yeah. But the truth of it is, again, Benji is right on this. If you keep going back, there are monotheistic religions, right? Such as Zoroastrianism, such as Vedic, Advaita Vedanta, etc. So Abrahamics are not exclusive in that sense, in the sense of philosophy, right?
But the Abrahamic faiths are not monotheists.
Yes, they are.
Argues, by the way, not as well.
Now, I don't think they are. I think they're not in the origin story.
When you're gonna hold people responsible.
Monotheisms. I think they merely sort of
There are models within each of the Abrahamic
morph into Zoroastrianism, do they?
that morph into that. Yeah. I mean, look, like if you have to like analyze the Abrahamics.
The Ten Commandments, for example, makes no sense if there's only one God.
My lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing somewhere beyond the sea. She's there watching for me. If I could fly like birds on high and straight to her arms, I'd go sailing. It's far.
What does he care about?
I've seen this in the cell, and then my honest.
And then now there were two, you know, and then he said, well, that's great, and then so on and so forth. You don't go from a God who is spending his Valentine's Day, you know, sucking his thumb because he's lonely, to a God who's like, no one have any gods except for me. Like, this is high school.
Yeah.
This is what high school lovers tell their high school fake spouses. Like, don't go out with anybody. If you go to the prom with somebody other than me, I'm gonna have a fit. Like, how do we go from a lonely monotheistic God to a high school boneheaded jock God who is jealous of all the other gods? Like, that's crazy. Judaism is not a monotheism, not in its origins.
Benjamin, what's your point?
Oh, just to answer your question, we're all Zoroastrians.
No, what's your point?
I mean, how are we all Zoroastrians now? How'd that happen?
Well, because my opinion is that Zoroastrianism has influenced the West so profoundly.
I wanted to say abortion. I do think we need to. This is not. I understand.
What's up, Caper?
Something like this. There's
Yeah,
going to be
I'm done fighting that.
bad people in prison and throw away the keys.
There's a football player, and they still be swap.
The good people should be the
Football is
streets.
some real sketchy shit.
Get rid of the bad people. You know, all the immigrants are the bad people. You get the immigrants, throw the immigrants out. You know, identify the bad people and get rid of them. That's kind of like the modality of the West. Whether it's throw them in prison or like, you know, send them to the goo or whatever. It's all about, you know, getting rid of them. Like Caleb comes in here and he says, oh, I hate you with 1,000 suns.
What the hell, Nugget?
I want to get rid of you. Sayla, how are you?
I'm okay. I have a.
Sayla.
I have
This is full happiness. I have Sayla and
I fell asleep